Here in South Carolina, maritime matters, and it all starts with the Port of Charleston. John S. James Company is a third-generation family-owned customs house broker, or in other words, they work as a travel agent for import and export shipments. For this week's Maritime Matters, proudly sponsored by Neal Brothers, I am joined by Pat Fosberry, who has been working in the industry for over 30 years. Welcome, Pat.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited to have you. I want to talk a little bit about you and your company. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about it.
I was born and raised in Charleston. I grew up with a lot of my family members in the waterfront community, but I never knew what that meant because they wore coat and ties to work. And I just pictured how are they working on the docks and found out what a tremendous industry it was. And when I finished college, a friend of mine told me about an opportunity at John S. James Company. Started there, 83, 41 years later, I am still there, and so is my friend. So, like I said, it's like you mentioned, it's a third generation. Family really matters. We have a lot of longevity at our company. We have a lot of customers we've had for a very long time, and it really matters about our customers and our people. We are a people company. We work very hard, but we also have a lot of fun in our job and in the community.
Yeah, and I feel like that speaks volumes of how much you really care about your company and the people you work with. You've been working with Neal Brothers for over 30 years now. How did you get connected with them?
Well, when they first opened up here, it was a England company, and we're from the South, and from the South, so usually we don't like outsiders coming in. And but then I met Dow Griffin, and it just from there our business together took off. We started working on some little projects here and there on some things. Then we had some. They were our go-to guy when they were known as the best packaging company in town, and they truly are. But then they have diversified so much that they basically do everything needed now. They make solutions, and that's what I can say about them, and I've always been impressed when I've gone to their facilities.
And so working with them, what does it mean to you to be able to be a part of it every single day?
Well, our maritime community in Charleston and in all of South Carolina is so important. So many people don't realize what a hidden gem it is in Charleston and all the opportunities there are out there. You've got the port is at the hub, and then you've got the workers like the longshoremen and the stevedores and the carriers like the ocean carriers, the motor carriers, the railroads, and then you've got the custom brokers, freight forwarders, warehouses, all working together to find that solution. And it is an $87 billion industry in South Carolina.
That's amazing.
Employing 1 in 9 people, which is amazing of what an impact that has. And it's just a great opportunity for someone to come in, of whether they are a high school graduate or they just got their master's in college. There's so many different levels in the industry and so many different types of jobs. It's just been awesome working with a lot of people and mentoring people. And some of our best in our industry never gone to college. I mean, they just got in early and they worked hard, and I think it's a tribute to the whole community of Charleston.
There's a spot for everyone.
It absolutely is, and there are some great programs and educational programs around, like the College of Charleston has some, where every week you have a class on a guest speaker from a different industry in the community. So if you might be a freight forwarder, but all of a sudden you're like, I really like warehousing. That really sounds like it's something that I'd want to do. So there are just so many opportunities.
I think it's so crazy. Like you said, there are so many different types of, again, opportunities. And to get an inside look in it is insane.
Yeah, it is. And, a lot of people talk about this generation of employees and how they're different. I don't really think they're that different. We didn't have all the best in my generation when we started either, but I think it has a lot to do with their upbringing. If they got that passion, they got that work ethic, They're awesome. And like I said, this is why this industry is, you don't necessarily have to have specific education and training before you start. You get so much of it once you get into the industry. We do continuing education constantly. Like I do over 100 hours a year of continuing education. So it's been great. And then you get to meet and have some of your best friends of your whole life. It truly is a community. And, with a partner like Neal Brothers, and I don't use that term loosely as partner, but we are so much alike. We work together to find solutions. We don't mind doing the hard jobs and the hard work. And at the end of the day, we're just there to service our customer. And I was thinking about it. I've never heard Neal Brothers tell me no to any kind of job or anything. They've always found a solution.
That's amazing. I want to brag on you for a little bit. You've been here for 30 years, and you really have that drive to where it got you where you are today, which is amazing. Again, Neal Brothers is such a great company to work with. What have you seen over the years that's really impressed you about them?
Well, they're hands-on. When they take a job, usually when we're using them, you've got your normal business, but it's usually the unusual things that come up. And the one that I most remember was a shipment that we had of a very large crate, and it was damaged in transit. So we couldn't ship it that way. We had to check it out. And it turns out that we took it over to Neal Brothers. They took apart the crate. They were able to kind of assess the situation. And we were just trying to figure out what really happened. And my favorite part was when Daryl ordered a guy to get off the ladder, and Daryl himself climbed up and was looking in between the different pipes and things of trying to figure out. And because of some of the things he found that there were some damage to the unit before it was even crated and couldn't have happened during the incident. So in the end, it was a $9.5 million claim that on some of the work Neal Brothers did, we got out of it. So, and a certain thank you to our insurance company, Roanoke. Thank you very much for what you did on that. So
yeah, that just shows how much that they truly just put into their business to make it the best, which is insane. I also want to ask you, the experiences that you've gotten throughout the years. What's the difference between what you've learned now between other companies you might have worked for?
Well, I think it's we like to work with companies that, like I said, are part of the solution. It's not just a job when we give it to them. Things are going to happen, and everyone's fine when things go fine and great. It's what they do when things happen. And they were involved in another shipment that we had of granite during the pandemic. And granite's going to be used to make tombstones, which were in huge demand at that time. Well, the packaging wasn't correct. The units got wet. Imagine granite on pallets. They were falling apart. They had mold all over them. Most people would not touch it when they opened the door. Neal Brothers did. They worked through and they found a solution, and it was tough. But they were there the whole time. They have a tremendous amount of opportunity because they do not just warehousing and packaging, and they do trucking, and there's a lot of different jobs. So when you think of a warehouse worker, it's not, you've got people in their offices too that are working, and you've got managers and executives that are working for it. And that's like it is everywhere in the waterfront industry, is that, it's a complete group of people that work. It's not just the physical workers. Thank goodness for the physical workers because they get the stuff done. But like I said, there's just so much opportunity. I've worked, and you can see my little lapel pin of, I'm on the board of trustees of the Trident Tech Foundation, which they have done such a phenomenal job of building educational programs for the importers, the exporters, and our industry. So Charleston is set for growth and workforce. So there's no excuse. Any of you seniors out there that are just graduating,
there you go.
Come look at the waterfront.
Come look at Neal Brothers.
Neal Brothers, the waterfront. And they'll point you in the right direction if they know a better industry for you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here.